a couple of words regarding that proclamation, or not proclamation, resolution.
Do you want that?
No.
Good evening, everyone. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, good evening. Welcome to this meeting of the Clovis City Commission. We'll go ahead and begin. We'll begin with the word of prayer, and then we'll honor our flags. If you would please pray with me. Heavenly Father, thank you for the blessings you give us each day. Thank you for our community. Thank you for the wonderful people that make up this wonderful community, and we pray and give thanks for the opportunity to serve in the fashion that we do as elected officials, and we pray for wisdom and wise guidance as we make decisions this evening. I ask these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in honoring our country's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Z symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Our meeting is called to order. Ms. Reyes, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Casals?
Here.
Commissioner Porter?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bryant?
Here.
Commissioner Garza? Commissioner Rowley?
Here.
Commissioner Paula?
Here.
Mayor Morris?
Here. Thank you, Ms. Reyes. Just to be clear, we do not have Commissioner Garza even by video or phone,
He's trying to
or
get
do we?
He's trying to get in.
Oh, okay. He'll catch up and join us then. Next is approval of the agenda. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, we have a new business item, number 2, request pertaining to the Economic Incentive Board. We need to remove that and take care of that at a later date. That is all I'm aware of. Do you recommend rearranging or removing any of the items? Hearing and seeing no other objections, we will adopt the agenda with that one change. And please record a yes vote for each of the members of the commission. Next is approval of the minutes. We have the minutes from the Thursday, January 5th, 2023 meeting in your packet. You've had the opportunity to go through that. Are there any corrections or changes that need to be made to that set of minutes?
Motion to approve.
Hearing and seeing no objections, we will adopt the minutes from the January 5th meeting and record a yes vote, please, for each of the members. Next, we'll recognize those of you that have joined us in the chamber this evening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest in what your city government is up to, and we look forward to hearing from you if you're here to speak on an agenda item. No presentation this evening, and so we'll move on briskly here to receipts of petitions and communications, where we have a planned communication this evening from Ms. Misty Ponce. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Morris. Good evening, Mayor Morris. Do I need to say my name and address? We're not doing that anymore.
You don't have to say your name and address. And of course, Ms. Ponce is here to give us a Civic Center update.
Yes, thank you very much. Again, good evening, Mayor Morris, Mayor Pro Tem Bryant, commissioners, colleagues, and friends. I appreciate your time and attention during my brief report on the Clovis Civic Center. For those of you that don't know me, you all know me. My name is Misty Ponce. I'm the general manager of the Clovis Civic Center. The theme of the past 2 years has been rebuilding relationships, strengthening partnerships, and hosting fun events and fun and memorable events. The Civic Center was closed for over a year due to the mass gathering restrictions imposed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and we are still reconnecting with local event planners to get back on track with celebrations, meetings, conventions, and conferences in the facility. Many of the managers of the Clovis Civic Center are recently celebrating their 1-year anniversaries as we had to rebuild a new team after the long closure. Our current management team works together seamlessly to operate the facility. The relationships we foster with each other and with our community benefit the overall spirit and well-being of the facility and have resulted in excellent scores in our customer satisfaction surveys, with much praise for the entire team. 4 of our management team received the 2021 President's Volunteer Service Award for their community service efforts, and last year we collected thousands of tampons and pads, toothbrushes, beauty products, books, pet supplies, school supplies, diapers, blankets, and gifts for numerous local nonprofits and service projects as part of our Year of Giving initiative, an effort to inspire others to give back to the local community. Most recently, Jana Dodd was added as our new finance manager and is working diligently with corporate finance support in Missouri and Canada to get our financial reporting back on track, as we were without a finance manager for nearly 8 months. While we are behind on reporting our monthly financial reports, the Clovis Civic Center has remained under budget even during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I am confident with my preliminary numbers and projections that we will remain under budget in fiscal year 23. I am also confident that we will be back up to date on financial reporting in the next 30 days. In fiscal year 22, we ended the year with a net loss of $345,352, which was $67,253 under budget. We generated $288,720 in event income to offset the indirect expenses of $637,536 for the year. Since our partial reopening in February 2021, we have hosted 509 events, most recently including multiple Clovis Municipal Schools banquets, the Mayor's Thanksgiving Ball, the Cannon Air Force Base Ball, and the Junior ROTC Ball, 12 holiday parties in December, the New Mexico Cannabis Convention, the Clovis Community College Nurses and Pinnings, Dwarfinator's Extreme Wrestling, and just today we hosted our weekly Clovis Rotary Club meeting, day 1 of the Cannon Air Force Base leadership meetings, and tonight we have the Sorghum Growers meeting. We are continuing to partner with the Clovis-Curry County Chamber of Commerce and the City of Clovis Lodgers Tax Board to produce our in-house events, including our consumer shows, the Spring Arts and Crafts Show, which will take place on March 11th and 12th, and also the Holiday Bazaar, which will take place on November 11th and 12th this year. Additionally, we host the Special Hearts Prom, an event for adults with special abilities in our community to come out and have a fun evening at the Civic Center. We plan to continue and produce these shows and events throughout the year and are adding a home show in partnership with the Curry County Events Center on April 22nd and 23rd. The 2-day show will host exhibitors and demonstrations at both facilities and feature home and garden related items and ideas, in addition to other products and services that promote living a healthier, happy, and more fulfilling life. We will continue to work to bring meaningful events and conferences to Clovis and to create fun experiences for our community. This concludes my report, and I will stand for any questions that you have.
Outstanding report, Ms. Ponce. Thank you for that. Any questions, commissioners?
Nope.
Great job. Thank you for the update.
Thank you for
Thanks
your
for all you do. Appreciate it. While we are in this section of the agenda, which is receipts of petitions and communications, if there's someone here that has something to share before the commission this evening, now would be the time, and we'll give you 3 minutes to do so. Evening, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm from District 1, and with this commission recently deciding to put our city at risk of massive judgments against us and buying $17,000 fake trees, I can only assume that we're swimming in money. Since that's the case, I'd like to know what plans are being put into place to fix the multitude of issues our city has. Our roads are in disrepair, potholes can be found in many neighborhoods, and the state of Prince Street is shameful, considering it's one of the first streets that newcomers to our city see. Our streets are nearly unwalkable and unbikeable. There is noticeable absence of both sidewalks and bike lanes on most streets throughout the city. Even where there are sidewalks, they tend to end abruptly, leaving pedestrians stranded, having to choose between turning back or walking on unsafe, busy roads. I would also like to know when you'll be increasing the wages of our public servants. At your last meeting, it was stated that the fire department brought in over $2 million in revenue. And yet, how many of our EMS personnel are forced to work multiple jobs? People from my own household have left our fire department, partially due to being unable to pay rent, and partially because they could not stand to see any more dead and dying neighbors. Which brings me to crime. According to the FBI crime rate, per 100,000 people, Clovis residents experience rape and car theft at disturbingly high rates. Our rates are more than double the US average, and you can't tell me it's a New Mexico issue, as we're well above the state averages in both categories. Neighborhood Scout noted that we're safer than only 4% of other US cities, but we're a city for families, right? Should I go on to education and how many of our residents are high school graduates, poverty levels, percentage of owner-occupied homes? Honestly, I don't have time to hit even the high notes of half of these topics. One of the last things I think your constituents want to know, you've told us for months now how awful abortion is. Now what are you going to do to prevent that need? Research is clear. Social safety nets, comprehensive sexual education for both children and adults, and easy, cheap access to birth control reduce the demand. So tell us, what do you plan to do to reduce the need for abortion, since apparently that's a battle you think that we should wage?
Okay, thank you for your communication. Anyone else have a communication for the commission tonight? Yes, Chief. Our police chief, Rice, has some great news and an announcement.
I do. It's not often I get to come before you tonight and have a presentation. Mr. Hall, thank you. Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commission. We have been starting a search for a deputy chief for a while now. I promised Mr. Howat a year ago that I would have a DC within a year. Training, observation, and then they went through their process of applying and going before a review board and seeing how they did and how they presented themselves. I'm not going to give a long dissertation, even though my 3-minute clock's not running. But I just want to say I am very pleased tonight to introduce what most of you already know as Trevor Throne. He's been a lieutenant with the police department ever since I've been there. In fact, he was my supervisor at one time. And he's been in detectives. He's a very significant role with the multi-crimes unit for the major crimes that occur here in the county. And he's cleared a proportionate part of those with the help of his team. So with over 15 years, in fact, I think today he got his 15-year milestone for being with the city. I want to introduce and let him say a few words. Lieutenant Trevor Throne, now my deputy chief.
Welcome, Deputy Chief.
Hey, well, thank you. So I'm excited to take on this new role and this new journey in my career. I'm also excited to continue to just work with the citizens of Clovis and to keep our department moving forward. So thank you. And like I said, I honestly look forward to what's to come.
Well,
So
we
are
do.
you going to invite them to come to the swearing in tomorrow?
Of course. So yeah, I think you already got invitations, but tomorrow 1:30
And is that taking place at the PD?
at the police department
At the police,
in the
okay.
Conference room. So
Okay,
yeah.
very good. I'll try to be there. Thank you for your service to the city and congratulations on this new position.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Wonderful. Anyone else have a communication this evening? Very well. We will move on in the agenda to the consent agenda. This item is placed on the agenda so that you can deal with many items with one motion. You have a total of 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. Item 2 is request for approval of amendment to memorandum of agreement between the City of Portales, Clovis, Fort Sumner, Roosevelt County, Curry County, Debaca County, County of Quay, County of Union, for the purpose of effectuating the completion of constructing an inpatient-outpatient psychiatric hospital in Clovis. Item 3, request for approval of adoption of resolution number 3175-2023, DFA budget changes. Item 4, request for approval of waiver of fees at Hillcrest Park Zoo for Communities Talk event on May 6th. Item 5, request for approval of lodger's tax quarterly disbursements for January 2023. That is your consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to place the items on the consent agenda by unanimous vote.
So moved. Second.
Okay, you did the motion and the second, Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, so we have a motion to place the items on the consent agenda from Commissioner Jones, second from Mayor Pro Tem Bryant. Commissioners, please vote. And the vote is unanimous, and the motion is carried. I would now entertain a motion to approve or acknowledge all of the items.
So moved. Second.
The motion to approve or acknowledge all of the items came from Commissioner Paula, the second from Commissioner Jones. Commissioners, please vote. And we have a unanimous vote. The motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move down to introduction and adoption of resolutions and ordinances, where we have one item this evening, and it is request for approval of adoption of resolution number 3176-2023, supporting funding to remediate PFAS, PFOA at Highland Dairy in Curry County. And Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, you have this resolution in your packet. You've had an opportunity to review that. But Mayor Pro Tem, you dealt with this as chair of the Water Policy Advisory Board or Committee, and heard the presentation on that, had discussion around that, and of course you've recommended it for approval here, correct?
Correct.
All
Thank
right,
you, Mayor.
I'll give you the floor.
Okay. Yes, water policy met on January the 9th, and Art Scott with Highland Dairy gave an update and a presentation on PFAS and PFOA at his dairy. And it was a recommendation of the committee to bring a resolution to the commission in supporting efforts by not only Highland Dairy, but also EPCOR Water to obtain funding during the legislative session to create a sustainable solution to the water challenges at his dairy for the contamination. So I'd like to give Mr. Scott a opportunity to come forward and give us maybe a 3-minute update.
Mr. Scott, welcome. Thank you for being here. We'll give you the floor, sir.
No, I really appreciate you guys' support, and like I said, we hope for the best thing to happen for the community. So, you know, without you guys supporting this project, Gayla's up there working right now hard, and we're gonna try to get something for the community. And like I said, the project's gonna help our area. We don't want to become a Superfund site, and we just want to thank you very, very much for all you do. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. The Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, as you're aware, but for the public's benefit, the therefore be it resolved of this resolution reads by the governing body of the City of Clovis, the Clovis City Commission, that the City of Clovis supports the efforts of Highland Dairy and EPCOR Water in obtaining funding during the 2023 New Mexico legislative session in order to create a sustainable solution to the water challenges Highland Dairy has faced as a result of PFAS, PFOA contamination at the farm.
And Mr. Scott, I just want to say that we know we completely support you on this and wish you the best during the legislative session.
Gayla's on the warpath, so.
Yeah.
You know how, she ain't gonna quit till she gets it done. We really appreciate you guys. And the county also is supporting us, and everybody, that we've talked to, senators and representatives in the area, I think they're all on board. So, I know EPCOR already got, the okay for some funding for the due diligence of the project.
Okay.
So, took some paperwork to get done. The Environment Department's been super, super great. So I think we're on the right path.
Okay, great. Thank you. We appreciate you. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Any discussion or debate on this item, or is there a motion?
I don't have any discussion. I just want to say that I think this is wonderful news. I think this is a problem, it's not just Highland Dairy's problem. It's the problem of the entire community, and I'm so grateful that so many people are working to remediate this, and EPCOR is looking at sustainable solutions for alleviating the problem, and I move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Paula, second from Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion or debate? All right, it's been properly moved and seconded that you approve resolution number 3176-2023. Please vote. And we have a unanimous vote, and the motion is carried. Thank you. Once again, thank you, Mr. Scott, and you have our support. We'll move on to new business, where the first item this evening is request for approval of small brewer and wine grower liquor license to be located at 412 through 416 Main Street. And to give us an explanation and advise us on this item, our city attorney, Mr. Morris.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. So Red Door is expanding their Levine's location on 4th and Main here downtown. And I believe they're opening a restaurant, and they're transitioning their current liquor license they've applied for 2 different producer licenses, one being a wine producer license and the other a small brewer's producer license. So they were granted preliminary approval for both licenses on the 8th of December. We published notice for tonight's hearing on the 18th and the 28th of December, respectively. So tonight before you would be a public hearing, a motion to start the public hearing, and then a public hearing on their application for a liquor license.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to answer any questions before moving in.
Okay, thanks for that, Mr. Morris. Sounds like everything has been done properly, and our task here this evening is to hold a public hearing. So is there a motion to enter the public hearing?
Second.
Motion to enter the public hearing from Commissioner David Bryant, and the second came from Mayor Pro Tem Chris Bryant. Please vote. And the vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. We have now entered the public hearing for this liquor license. Is there anyone that wishes to provide testimony? Hearing and seeing no one wishing to provide testimony, is there a motion to exit the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion to exit the public hearing from Commissioner Commissioner Casals. The second came from down at the end there, Commissioner Jones. Please vote. Motion is carried unanimously, and we have exited the public hearing. We're back to the item before you, the approval of the license.
I move for approval.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Paula.
Second.
Second from Mayor Pro Tem. Any further discussion or debate? Hearing and seeing none, please vote. By a vote of 7 in favor, the motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we will, if you remember, we removed item 2, so we'll move on to request for approval of budget change for the US 6084 sewer line replacement. Our city manager, Mr. Howalt.
Good evening, and thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. If you recall, the City of Clovis previously entered into a utility relocation agreement with the DOT to relocate our sewer lines as part of the US 6084 reconstruction project. They have since that time gone out to bid for that project and received the low bid from Albuquerque Underground. And the portion of work that was associated with the sewer line relocation came in at $2.9 million. The City of Clovis, under that utility relocation agreement, had previously escrowed with the DOT $2.1 million based off of our construction cost estimates at the time. And so because we have not escrowed enough money with the DOT for that work, we'll need to escrow with them an additional $875,000. The DOT can't move forward with the award of the contract to AUI until all the funding for the project is in place. So we would need to approve this additional funds going towards that project this evening so that they can officially award the project to AUI. The funding would come from our cash reserves, Fund 10 wastewater. And this is a great example on why we carry cash reserves in our accounts because there are these expenditures that do come out throughout the year in which we're going to need funds for to make these necessary improvements. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that explanation. Mr. Howalt, was the explanation adequate, or are there questions? Is there discussion on this?
No questions.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion for approval from Mayor Pro Tem, and the second from Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion or debate on this item? Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the budget change for the US 6084 sewer line replacement. Please vote. And the motion is carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on now to what is now item 3 under new business, and it is request for approval of budget transfer for $5,000 for marketing and promotion of Clovis Hires, young adult career fair and hiring event. And Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, you have at your station some flyers related to this event. Just a brief explanation of this. I had the really at the beginning of 2022, I had the idea to hold some type of youth event where we would where it would be more than simply a job fair and a hiring event, but a career fair where we would help young people in our community up to age 24 have the opportunity to catch a vision for their educational path or their career path in life. And I wanted to include the schools and Clovis Community College and create the event that we now have had several planning sessions for, and this event will be taking place on February 28th. And it'll be held out at the community college. Clovis schools are on board in a big way, and we'll be busing juniors and seniors out to this. We're also inviting the area high schools, and it's a very exciting work to see come together, as we'll have employers there that are both hiring for immediate openings that might be temporary or part-time positions that young people would be interested in, but they're also there, and this is an important part of the vision of the event, they're also there to market to young people what a career with their company would look like. And so it's just it's an exciting thing that we're pulling together. It was my idea. We had an initial planning meeting, which it just took off from there, and so we're at the point now where we've realized we do need a little bit of a marketing budget, that we're going to do that primarily with social media because of the age range of folks that we're trying to reach. But I think this would be a wonderful investment in young people in our community. And I think you would all agree with that. However, you may not agree that it's a good use of the funds to promote the event. So I'd be interested in what thoughts you have.
Mayor, this will give them the opportunity, from what I'm understanding, to get help with resume writing, interviewing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's correct, and that's included in the 3 or 4 page version of the flyer in front of you. And yes, Commissioner Bryant, there will be breakout sessions for young people, and again, it's 16 to 24, so we're going to have young folks there that are both in high school, but also just young people that may or may not be in college, but are looking for some direction and looking for some assistance. So they're going to be able to attend breakout sessions, as you see there, that include Dress for Success, resume writing, mock interviews, digital footprint, and so on. Yep.
Fantastic.
I think this is a great program. Pretty excited about it in the community, and I will put a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Motion for approval from Commissioner Jones, second from Commissioner David Bryant. Any further discussion on this or debate? Hearing and seeing none, it has been properly moved and seconded that you approve the budget transfer of $5,000 for marketing Clovis Hires, a young adult career fair and hiring event. Please vote. The vote is unanimous. The motion is carried. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. I'm very, very excited about this, and this will help make it a great event. Next is item 4. Under new business, it is request for approval of budget adjustment in the amount of $19,225.20 from Fund 61 for the purchase of LED parking lot lighting at Roy Walker. And we have Mr. Hooper here this evening, our Parks Director, Parks and Recreation Director. Welcome, Mr. Hooper. Please let us know what we need to know about this budget adjustment.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to come up here. The lights at Roy Walker, and I believe the first one has to do with parking lot lights, they're just getting in bad shape. They're the older incandescent lights. Some of them are going out. The poles have been bent. There's different things that are going on. There's not a good way to replace them with what is currently in there. Therefore, we have to upgrade to LED. It's kind of difficult to upgrade one without upgrading the whole parking lot. Basically, we've gotten the bid to upgrade the parking lot lights and the poles, and this was the number that came out, but it can't be supported in the current budget. I guess that's why we're asking for money to come over.
Okay,
That I'd be glad to answer.
great. Sounds like a great upgrade. On the budget transfer, Mr. Howalt, can you just tell us where that comes from?
That is coming out of our Special Parks Fund, Fund 61. So we also carry cash reserves within that fund itself. So that's what it'd be transferred out of. Yes, sir.
So these are essentially reserve funds for Parks and Recreation.
Yes, it is.
Sure.
That's
Okay.
correct.
All right. Any other questions, discussion?
No, maybe just a comment. I was over there at an event back a few months ago in the evening, and it was extremely dark. And so I am really, really glad to see this on the agenda and hopefully getting it approved.
Mayor, I had some calls from some women that are starting the defense classes, and they say the parking lot is really dark, so I'm glad to see this. And I know there's more activities in the evening being held there. I think Anthony that works there is doing an awesome job. The ladies are learning how to defend themselves. So I second the motion.
Did we have a
Yeah,
motion for? Yeah, okay. All right. Did you make a motion for?
I'll make a motion, yes.
Okay, we have a motion for approval for this budget adjustment from Mayor Pro Tem Bryant and a second from Commissioner Casals. Any further discussion or debate? Hearing and seeing none, please vote. And Mr. Hooper isn't going anywhere because the next item is for him as well. The vote is 7-0. The motion is carried. Thank you. Next, request for approval of budget adjustment in the amount of $19,950.03 from Fund 61 to upgrade lighting inside Roy Walker Gymnasium to LED lighting. Mr. Hooper.
Yes, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, still appreciate the opportunity to be up here. Yes, this was, we started actually the project last year. We have replaced all the LED bulbs in the common areas inside just for efficiency and better lighting. Back to this. Now this is for the gyms themselves. Some of the bulbs are going out, back to the same problem. We can't just replace the bulbs. We got to replace the lighting. You replace one, then it becomes difficult. So this would be to replace the lighting in both gyms inside. We've also done, we're doing all the wall packs on the outside. That we could cover. So that wasn't an issue. Like I say, the inside lights we've covered. These were just some major issues that we didn't have a chance.
Yeah, great. Well, again, excited to see the upgrades to that, and I'll say I've heard from folks that use Roy Walker about the lighting and the challenges with that, and so I know one, I'm impressed with how many people are using Roy Walker for the various activities and programs that are happening out there, and so we have a lot of folks utilizing Roy Walker, and we do need to do our best to take care of it. I know that we're pursuing capital outlay funds in order to do the roof and the HVAC on that building, and so glad that we can do these smaller things to continually make incremental improvements to that asset. Any discussion or debate?
Well, I think I've personally knocked out 2 of these lights playing volleyball, which tells you how amazing my volleyball skills are. So I know they need to be done, and I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Paula, second from Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion or debate? Hearing and seeing none, please vote.
Mayor will send Commissioner Paula an invoice for those lights.
I was going to say, could we just, let's take that out of her commissioner pay, right? The vote is 7-0, and the motion is carried. Mr. Hooper, thanks for
Thank
being
you all
here.
very much.
Thanks for all you do. Thanks, Mr. Hooper. All right, that takes care of new business this evening. We're on to reports of boards, officers, and committees. Mayor Pro Tem, Water Policy Advisory Committee did meet, as was discussed earlier, on Monday, January 9th. Do you have anything else to report from that meeting?
Other thing, we had some updates from Mark Werter with EPCOR and also with Mr. Howalt with the city. And our next meeting will be on April the 10th. And we'll have updates at that time from the Eastern New Mexico Water Utility Authority and hopefully an update from the Ogallala Land and Water Conservancy. Mr. Howalt, do you have anything to add?
No, sir. Great job.
Thanks for that. Civic Center Policy Committee meeting took place on Tuesday, January 10th. Is there a report on that?
I am on that committee,
Okay,
and I think Misty explained to us
She-
what was
right,
going on.
we just heard
She
a great
did,
report,
yeah.
yeah.
Just, I wish they would just get more conventions, more meetings out there.
And has there
And I
been,
know they're working with the chamber on that, so.
Oh, that's great. So they're working with the chamber, but so that's been a topic of discussion among the committee as well?
Yes.
Yep. Great. Thanks for your service there, Commissioner Casals. Appreciate that. Next, Lodgers Tax Advisory Committee meeting on Tuesday, January 10th. Anything to add to that? Obviously, those disbursements were approved in the consent agenda tonight.
There was no further discussion on those
All right,
items.
very good. Planning and Zoning Commission meeting took place Wednesday, January 11th. Anything to report on that? Commissioner Garza sits on that, but isn't here this evening. Mr. Howell, you have anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. So they did have one agenda item on there, and that was a request for approval of a variance for a billboard that was located in the southwest corner of Prince and US 6084. The billboard itself was going to be needed to be relocated due to the road work that's going to be going on by the NMDOT. As part of our UDO, anytime major work is done to a sign that it would be considered non-conforming, that sign would need to bring into compliance with our existing or new code. And so that particular property, that sign would have become non-conforming because of the location of it in regards to other billboards in the area. And so it needed the variance. And so the Planning and Zoning Board did hear from the applicant himself, and based off of the information that they had, they chose to grant the variance for the sign to remain in place. So with it being relocated back.
Okay. You know, I guess that's why it takes all of us and these boards and committees advise the commission, but I don't mind saying for all to hear how disappointed I am in that. After what we did, the work that we did with the sign code and that billboard and its proximity to other billboards and all of the discussion that we had about, cleaning up how signs look around our city, I'm just extremely disappointed that P&Z gave the variance on that one when it's clearly, one of those that, in my opinion, we shouldn't have. But
and in this particular instance, under the UDO, just for the Commission's information, they are the final decision-making authority when it comes to variances, so that it would not come to you guys for further consideration. If they would have denied the variance, the appeal process would have actually for the applicant would have gone to the district court.
all right, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Before we ask Ms. Melanson, I'll just finish reporting a little bit. I feel like I've had far more than one, but I wanted to talk about Clovis hires just a little bit more and report on the planning for that and perhaps even do a little bit of cleanup on what I explained earlier. So I told you it's a collaboration between many entities, including Workforce Connection. So they've been at every meeting. They're Clovis folks as well as their state level Workforce Connection folks have been involved in helping us plan this event, and so it's great to have their support on that. Again, we have Clovis Community College involved. We also have Clovis Municipal Schools involved, to include the high school principal, who could not be more excited about this event because it fits very closely with his vision for bringing some trade programs into the high school in a more robust way in the coming years. And when we start listing people, we run the risk of leaving someone out, but we've had the assistance and the help of the Chamber, Clovis Economic Development, the EPCOG. This has just been a great coming together of so many different entities with the goal of benefiting young people in our community and businesses, by the way, that get to hire these young folks. And so there's the immediate benefits of the young folks finding a job, the immediate benefits of the businesses filling positions, but the long game on this is the strengthening of our workforce, which is important, as you remember, in the economic development plan that you approved recently. Developing the workforce is a priority, and in my mind, this is a step in that direction. And so I couldn't be more excited to have your support on the marketing dollars earlier this evening. Very excited to move this forward. Last Friday, we actually held really kind of a meeting within the meeting. Communicate and have worked with former Representative Rebecca Dow on a lot of things, and she's highlighted this federal program, Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, and under that federal act, there is a paid internship program that she actually came to town last Friday, and we had a lunch meeting and advised the planning group of Clovis Hires, as well as many others, of the opportunities that exist there. And so I'm really excited about finding these different ways that we can invest in young people in our community. With that, we'll move on to the monthly investment report. Ms. Melanson.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioners. So we are halfway through the fiscal year. So December of 2022, we started the month with 64.8 million, ending with 66.7 million. Brief overview of cash balances: General Fund 1, 8.5 million. Solid Waste Fund 2, 3 million. Wastewater Fund 10, 3.2 million. Economic Development Gross Receipts Fund 64, 4.8 million. Water Quarter Percent, 5.5 million. And our American Rescue Plan Fund 94, 9.4 million. We have $41.3 million in our local banks and $25.3 million in the state investment pool. The month interest was $83,961 with a 6-month total of $312,784. Our state pool continues to increase in interest from 3.51 last month to 3.92 this month. And it's not on the list, but that is what was presented at the Finance Committee, along with discussions about the ongoing investment policy. And then I did receive gross receipts today. We are up 7.83% from last year and almost 39% from 2 years ago. And we are about 6.7% above our actual for the year. And we had 4,128 industries reporting, of which 1,578 were new, which is a little bit less than last month. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks for that. It's interesting, 1,578 new, and it's a number of similar, it's in that range every month, right?
Yes.
And these are the internet retailers that are remitting gross receipts tax because they're selling products to folks that are purchasing them from our city.
Correct, and that was for November activity, so I think that will be up for next month for December for. That's probably the start of Christmas shopping, so we'll see what the rest of it for Christmas did.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you for that report. Any questions? Anything to add to the Finance Committee meeting report?
Not at all.
Okay.
I think it pretty well covered it.
Yep, I think it did.
Okay, very good. Thanks for that. Future agenda items. Ms. Burrows or Mr. Howalt, do you have future agenda items to mention?
Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners, the only thing I have currently is an interlocal agreement between the City of Clovis and Curry County for the JAG grant. We have a Main Street update, Library Board vacancies, and then the EIB vacancies. Thank you.
Thank you. So upcoming meetings, we have Parks, Recreation, and Beautification Committee meeting at 5:30 p.m. on Monday, January 23rd. We have Public Works Committee meeting at 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, January 25th. The legislative dinner will be Monday, January 30th, and of course that takes place in Santa Fe. And the next City Commission meeting will be at 5:15 p.m. on February 2nd, right here in the North Annex. With that, we are adjourned.